Hey, what's up everybody? This is your boy Kenny and welcome back to KRS TV. And this is my review for one of my favorite shows on television, Queen Sugar Season 3 Episode 1. And the name of this episode is A Rock, a River, a Tree. Man, this was a really good episode. I'm so happy that this show is back. I really enjoy this show because it's so rich, it's so profound, and it's so innovating. And I love everything about Queen Sugar. So let's begin. The episode opens up. Nova is actually, talking about this. She's actually meeting with these women who are trying to give her this 6-figure book deal, which is gonna take her career to the next level. And it's gonna give her all the fame and notoriety that you could possibly imagine being an author and an artist. And we see that Nova right now is really fighting, this whole question of leaving grassroots behind to go to this higher level where she's going to be, doing TV interviews and talking to going on college campuses, to give forums and all of this. So she's really in this conflict whether she's going to give up grassroots to becoming a figure, because she's very talented and very intelligent. And now she's at a place where she can actually take this to the next level, but that means she would have to leave grassroots behind. The question is she's gonna, which side is she's gonna choose? Is she's gonna choose this book deal where she could become a very, very rich woman versus still being a grassroots activist? Now Charlie, on the other hand, Charlie is, pretty much comes to, to sign the deal about Queen Sugar, because in the deal she's pretty much gave Queen Sugar to the Landrys and the Boudreaux, but she gets like she pretty much has a 1% back end on the deal, so she's still going to be earning money off of it, because she's gave them her business. But she's still going to be the face and kind of like the, CEO of Queen Sugar. So here it is. She comes there to sign the contracts. Landry sends Jacob's ass out the room. And Jacob was happy to see her because Jacob's in love with her. So he sends him out the room, and we start to see how much of a trifling, bigoted piece of shit Landry really is. And he was telling her that, we'll consider that 1% as, as a token of our good judgment, because we didn't have to give you that, but we chose to do that, out of our kindness and consideration. And it's good that you're still going to be the face, because we can kind of keep appearances around here to make it look like we for the blacks, but we not. And then he was saying that it's kind of funny that it took all of this for us to finally begin to work together, and your father would be proud. Man, if you could, I could have paid 10 cents for when Charlie's facial expression kind of gave the fact that I'm going to fuck you up. Because here it is, you knew you were making life hard for my father, as well as for all the other farmers. Like, you are blatantly admitting that you're evil, and that you're and that you don't care for the black community whatsoever. But your whole mission is to make money off of them. So that pissed Charlie off, because you brought her father into it. And she's beginning to peep game, like, yeah, because she's got a plan, and her plan is to get in and destroy them and to break them down. Because we see later on she has a conversation with Ralph Angel, and she says that, yes, I'm gonna find every tax break, every type of corruption they got going, and I'm gonna put their shit out there on blast, and I'm gonna ruin them in a way that they will never come back. But then again, I'm thinking there's going to be some complications with this, you know. So we see a lot of that going on. And we definitely see that damn Jacob Boudreaux, and I got a little nickname for him. I'm gonna start calling him Jack in the Box, because he is ready to jump out the box and into Charlie's box. Like, he is just happy. Like, you know, they had this really big, you know, college game, you know, and I'm definitely gonna talk about that. But afterwards, they all went to this bar, and that's where she ran into Jacob, you know, the second time around. And Jacob is just like, you know, it's something crazy about our arrangement. You know, how it's so secretive and so dirty. And you just kind of see him got this look in his face, and I'm like, Jacob, you horny dog. Like, you can't wait to just jump into the box. But then again, Charlie, you can tell, is kind of intrigued by him. You know, and in episode 2, they reveal a little bit more. It kind of reveals a little bit more on why she's intrigued with him too. But, you know, you can tell she's kind of intrigued with him and everything. And it's just crazy, because we also see that she also has a run-in with Remy's ass. And Remy right now is really pissing me off, because Remy is so in his feelings that when they were at, you know, when we first saw Remy, they were at the game. And, you know, he's smiling, but as soon as he sees Charlie, he immediately puts a frown on his face. Then at the bar after the game, you know, Aunt Vi sees Remy and she calls him over to come hang out with them, and he was like, "Oh no, I'm fine here." And Aunt Vi says, "Why don't you go talk to him? You know, at the end of the day, he's like family, and you know, y'all shouldn't let y'all personal things get in the way of that." And Charlie, being of good nature, approaches Remy and lets him know, "Look, Aunt Vi wants you to come over and sit with us. I know me and you are not on good terms, but don't take it out on the family, because they have nothing to do with this." And he was like, "Well, in respect for Vi, I'm just gonna sit here with my head down." Then stay your fucking ass over there, Remy, with your punk ass. He made me so damn mad, and I'm like, bruh, I understand you mad at Charlie. You have every right to be mad at Charlie, because obviously Charlie doesn't see things the way you do. But you soaking and taking it out on them? Like, dude, get over yourself. But then he really feels some kind of way when he sees Charlie talking to Jacob. So I'm really getting to the bottom of this shit, and I'm thinking that's the main reason why Remy's mad, because he sees Jacob as competition. And he knows Jacob wants Charlie. But you had the opportunity to get Charlie. Charlie, you know, had that thong on and was ready to serve it to you, but it didn't happen. So you mad now that, you know, Jacob Boudreaux want to get at her? And it's just crazy. But then, yeah, because he saw when the two of them when Charlie and Jacob were interacting with each other, Remy peeped it, and you can see Remy was mad as hell. And I'm like, oh well. And weren't you kind of flirting with Nova, you know, last season? So really, right now, Remy, you not really looking good in my eyes right now. You kind of giving this very arrogant way about you that if you don't do things your way, you just gonna give people your ass to kiss. Fuck you, Remy. Alright, now I've got that out of my system, because Remy was making me mad. Like, he really was doing the most. Then we also see that Charlie finds out, she actually finds the cop that actually brutalized Micah when he arrested him. So she finds out who this cop is. She actually sees him at the game, and she also meets his little grandson. And we see that the grandson and Blue go back and forth, and he's like, "I like your shirt," and he's like, "Thank you." You know, so it shows you right there, racism is taught. It's not really a natural thing. Racism is taught, it's a practice, and it's a damn choice. But by nature, we're not racist. If we really went by nature's process, we would get along fine. Because we see these two kids, you know, and they don't see color. He said, "Oh, I like your shirt." And Blue was like, thank you. Like, we just seen that the two of them could be friends. But yet we live in a world with all of this racial turmoil because racism is a choice. Racism is not a natural thing. It's something that and the thing about it, racism, this racism has not only just been a problem for America, we see that racism has been a problem throughout the world. And this is generations of shit. Even before the African slave trade, racism was an issue. Like, say, for example, when it came down to the Jews and the Egyptians during the days of Moses. I'm just saying, racism has always been this negative factor that has always been in the midst. But she's really peeping this, that, okay, here he is with his grandson, and he kind of gives, like, that attitude that he really don't care for blacks. And then, and then also we see that later on, Charlie gets a video of him brutalizing another black person. And it was even disturbing for me to see. But this is something that's going on all the time, within the black community in their relation to in their relationship with, with the police department. That how a lot of these cops are brutalizing and are, dehumanizing black men and black women. We see it all the time, which is one of the reasons why I myself, decided to become a legal consultant to actually help, my fellow brothers and sisters to get legal protection. Because we really live in a society that is not safe, and that any person can become a victim of police brutality. So she sees this image and she pretty much lets the person know, and he in the message, the person that told her that Micah was not the only one. He's brutalized a lot of young black men. So Charlie said, leak this shit. So I'm like, Charlie ain't for the bullshit, and she definitely knows that this is the man that hurt her child. Oh, she's ready to go in. Now I'm gonna talk about Ralph Angel. This was so hard for me because I'm like, Dollar, you evil bitch. I was so mad. Like, I was just like, it made me so mad at Dollar all over again. Because now that this has been brought up, that Blue possibly may not be his, we see that there's a distance between Blue and Ralph Angel. And, Blue is longing for his mother. And he's definitely kind of attributing a lot of this anger and resentment towards Ralph Angel, where he's being hard-headed, he's not listening, he's, talking back, and he's just doing the most. I mean, when they at the game, he tells Blue to stay, Blue walks off with them anyway. Blue is just doing the most. And I'm like, see, Blue, you keep on messing up, Ralph Angel gonna beat your ass, you better cut it out. But we see that this has caused a change in their relationship because of Darla's bullshit. And it was so funny because as soon as Darla, video chatted Ralph was like, hold on. She's like, Ralph, can you at least talk to me about this for a minute? He ain't got no words for the bitch. And gave the phone to Blue and said, talk to your mama. And we see that Blue does miss his mother. She's like, when are you going to come to get me? Then come back home. Because he wants his mother to be a part of his life. So right now, a lot of this resentment he's giving to Ralph because he's thinking that it's all Ralph's fault. Not knowing your trifling ass mother lied to this family for 7 years that your paternity could possibly not be his. And instead of her being real with Ralph, she literally took Ralph for a ride. I mean, they were about to get married and everything. And also in this episode, we see that Ralph finally gets the paternity test and he finds out that Blue is not his kid. But it was so moving because he, with tears in his eyes, is saying it don't change nothing. And we see that Charlie and Nova are there with him. And I'm saying they are a force, the three of them together. When the three of them are together, you will not win against the three of them, because the three of them, they all bring an extra, each of them have a special force that when they come together, they are unstoppable. And like we really see in this episode that they really stood by him, but it damn near moved me to tears, because I was like, this man wants to be a father. But then again, even though he found out that Blue ain't his kid, he's like, it don't change nothing. Because he loves Blue. And Blue is like the light that keeps that family going. So we gonna see what's gonna be up with Darla, because when we saw Darla looked like she cleaned up a good deal. So she's at home with her parents, and she's kind of getting her life together. But she tells Blue that when things are better off, I'll come and see you. But yeah, we gonna see down the line how that's gonna work out, because Darla is gonna reappear later on this season, and I want to see how that's gonna go down. But yeah, that was crazy. And I'm like, that damn Darla. See, you had a great situation and you decided to fuck it up with your stupid ass. Alright. Now I'm going to talk about Dawn-Lyen in Hollywood. Dawn-Lyen in Hollywood just came back from Italy. I have to say, Dawn-Lyen's hair color, she looked good. And she feels good. And she's excited. But we see that Hollywood is becoming very, very overprotective because of the fact that Dawn-Lyen has lupus. So every time she moves, Hollywood's there. And like when they're at the game, he's trying to help her. Now she's like, I got this. I can walk by myself. Thank you, Hollywood. And Hollywood is just getting kind of frustrated with it, because he's trying to make sure that she's protected. But, we see that the two of them have a discussion. And she's like, look, I'm not going to break. I'm going to be just fine. I got wings just like you. I don't want you put me on no pedestal. And, Hollywood was like, I'm always going to lift you up. And I'm always going to protect you. That's what I do. I'm like, you better go, Hollywood. Hollywood, I have to say, is my favorite character on the show. I love me some Hollywood. He's definitely the kind of man that I'm striving to be like Hollywood. That type of man that ain't... He's about family, and he about business, and don't got no time for bullshit. Because I, for one, people who know me, I do not deal with bullshit. I am not a type of person that is gonna just deal with bullshit. Like, I will annihilate it. And we see that Hollywood is kind of the same way. He addresses a situation, and then he's done with it. So he's definitely an inspiration to somebody like myself. So we see that they have that heart-to-heart moment. And, that's pretty much what we got from them. They just got back from Italy. We see that Hollywood is really excited about planning this big wedding. And, it's going to have like an Italian theme and all of that. So, things are looking good. But then again, it's like, okay... Via's like, on the other hand, like, look, I'm trying to be my own person, and like, we know that, from the last season, Hollywood, and, got this really big inheritance, from working at the, working, out there, on the rigs. So he's like a millionaire now. So he's like, now they got all this money, he wants to, live life and give by the best, and he wants to protect her. So I thought that was pretty cool. Now I'm going to talk about one of the big events of this episode, is that they have this college game at St. Josephine's, and everybody in the community comes. So everybody was there. We even saw Proctor there. Proctor's on the cane, and later on we find out that he has to have back surgery, so he's not going to be able to be active. But Ava, you better not kill all Proctor, because Proctor is a really good man, and he's a no-nonsense type of person. Something else that I loved. And we see that him and Charlie had a moment, towards the end of the episode, where she said that, look, we're gonna, as long as the three of us stick together, everything's gonna be fine, but she says that, she thanks Proctor for being there for them, and that, it's like having a piece of my father still around, so we're here for you, and we got you. So I thought that was cool. But at this college game, tensions rise when this girl starts singing the national anthem. You kind of have what's going on what's going on now in sports and in the NFL, where people are kneeling, or people are either sitting, or they're not standing for the national anthem. And it shows that there's this civil unrest in America, and it's sad that a lot of these people don't get why people are rejecting the national anthem. First of all, the national anthem actually has a verse pretty much promoting slavery, but they removed that verse. So Francis Scott Key had this slavery verse within this piece, even though we don't sing it, but hey, the root is there. So that's one reason. Another reason is that you want us to say that, home, for the land of the free and the home of the brave, but yet you're treating our people like we're less than human beings. With police brutality. We got Trump in the White House, doing all of these outlandish and ridiculous things. Like, you got all of this civil unrest within society. And what makes you think people are going to support a country that doesn't support them back? Or they feel that they're not, that their rights are constantly being violated, that their civil liberties are in jeopardy. People are not going to stand and sing a national anthem when they feel that they are not included. So this is like a message to say that we as Americans need to change the game and actually figure out a way for everyone to work together, and that everyone can live civilly and everyone can benefit, not just the few or the lights or the people with the lighter shade of skin, if you know what I mean. So this girl singing the national anthem, we see that there's these young black people who get in front of her and they kneel, and then we see other people start kneeling. Then we see some bigots who come out with the Confederate flag, talking about something, go back where you came from. So there's all this racial tension before the game starts, but then once the game starts, everybody's into the game. So it's crazy. We can actually enjoy the game, but when it comes down to this whole question of our national anthem, there's all this racial tension, and it's because, here it is, we're supposed to be singing about us being Americans, but yet we're not feeling like we're Americans. We're not being treated like Americans. We're being treated less than, our white counterparts. And, it's not just blacks, it's, Hispanics, everybody. All of us who are of a darker shade of skin are being subjected to this shit. And I'm so happy that they showcase this to really show, like, no, us kneeling is not a form of disrespect. It's giving you a wake-up call that you can't keep doing this bullshit. You can't keep promoting this racist, dogmatic crap and just think that we're just going to fall in line and support you. No, that's not how the way this works. It's not how any of this works. If we're constantly feeling like our brothers are being killed by the police, if we feel that the commander-in-chief, the man who's supposed to be serving and protecting, our nation, is pretty much, and yet he's still out here, speaking this crazy shit and making decisions that are not beneficial to the black community, so you have all of this being talked about, and they don't get it. It's like, so us rejecting the anthem is not about the anthem itself. It's more about the fact that don't say we're Americans if you're not going to treat us equally, if we don't have the same opportunities or the same leverage or the same levels of respect that you want for yourself. So it's more like get with the times, and we need to remodel the system and redevelop it where everyone is included, and that everyone has a fair piece of the American pie. So that's what I have, y'all. If I missed anything, put it down in the comments. But subscribe to my channel. Click that bell so you get notifications every time I drop a video. Also, follow me on all of my social networks. I have them all listed in the description box. Also, like this video, comment on this video, and share this video. And I will be back with the next episode of Queen Sugar. It was pretty much a 2-night premiere, so I'm good. So pretty much check out for my review of episode 2. So until next time, everybody, take care.